June 18, 2020, Munich. The COO of Wirecard, a company once valued at $28 billion, is fired. By evening, he's gone. 2 billion euros have vanished from the company's accounts, and he has vanished with them. What investigators discovered next would reveal something far more disturbing than corporate fraud. Because he wasn't just an executive. According to multiple intelligence agencies, he'd been a Russian spy for at least a decade. His name is Jan Marsalek.
He's a total whiz kid. Like, he's the classic, drops out of high school to start a tech company, ends up at Wirecard. He's in too much of a hurry to go to university or even learn to drive. I've got better things to do. Total workaholic, but also one of the most charming people you have ever met.
Marsalek joined Wirecard in 2000, hired for his knowledge of mobile payment systems. By 2010, he was COO, Chief Operating Officer, of Germany's fintech poster child, a DAX 30 company worth billions. But that was only one version of Jan Marsalek. Around 2010, Marsalek was recruited by the GRU, Russia's military intelligence. The recruitment followed a classic pattern. A woman named Natalia Zlobina, a former model, enters his life. By 2014, she introduces him to Stanislav Petlinsky, who has extensive GRU connections. Petlinsky himself admitted in interviews with investigative journalists that he introduced Marsalek to influential persons in Russia, including lawmakers and intelligence operatives. What followed was a decade-long double life. By day, a tech executive, by night, an asset for Russian intelligence. In 2015, Marsalek began pursuing something ambitious in Libya, a country torn apart by civil war. He told people it was about humanitarian reconstruction. Documents and witness testimony tell a different story. In early 2018, Kleinschmidt, a humanitarian, was approached for what was told was a project to help stabilize Libya. The meetings included Jan Marsalek and Gustav Gustenau, a brigadier in Austria's defense ministry. But at the second meeting, Marsalek revealed what he really wanted: to train and equip 15,000 to 20,000 Libyan militiamen, an entire private army. He talked about border control, about managing migration. He even got excited describing how mercenaries could wear body cameras to record awesome video material of them shooting people. It was the opposite of humanitarian work. Kleinschmidt walked away, but Marsalek had already made moves. Through a complex web of shell companies, he'd invested in the Libyan cement company, and in 2016, he purchased RSB Group, a Russian private military company. According to the Financial Times, dozens of RSB mercenaries were housed at the cement factory. It was Russia's first boots on the ground in Libya. What Marsalek did was provide cover for Russian military expansion. RSB Group opened the door for Wagner, the more notorious Russian mercenary group, to establish operations in Libya. By the time Marsalek fled in 2020, thousands of Wagner fighters were operating there.
Fidelius from Spiegel called me and said, can we look into this guy who disappeared? And people think he's in Africa, some others think he's in the Philippines or Malaysia. Let's find him because nobody can track him down. So it took me about 2 weeks and we found him in Belarus and then in Russia.
In September 2025, a team of journalists from Der Spiegel, ZDF, PBS Frontline, and The Insider obtained detailed information about Marsalek's current life. He's living openly in Moscow, accompanied by translator Tatiana Spiridonova. Border records show she's regularly traveled on courier missions, bringing encrypted NATO laptops to Moscow. In one chat message, Marsalek wrote that a device was in a car on the way to Lubyanka, the headquarters of the FSB, Russia's Federal Security Service. But that's not all he's been doing.
I really had no idea until one day I was confronted by law enforcement. I was in New York in the beginning of 23, and I was on the way back to Austria, where my family and I lived for years. And I was told, you cannot go back to Austria because there's a team, a red team, waiting for you down there to kidnap you. I said, you must be joking. I mean, no, it's a Russia-appointed team. We still don't know who's behind the team, but they're after you. And a couple of weeks later, I was told actually it's Jan Marsalek who is controlling these 6 Bulgarians who have been out to get you, and they were just arrested in London.
One defendant, Orlin Rusev, received over £200,000 from Marsalek for surveillance operations. The targets included Christo Grozev himself, the investigator tracking Marsalek, Russian dissidents, opponents of the Kremlin, all surveilled from British soil, directed by a man who'd been COO of a major German corporation just 3 years earlier. Now, Jan Marsalek is living under the identity of an Orthodox priest. In September 2020, Russian authorities issued Marsalek a passport in the name of Konstantin Byazov, a real Orthodox priest from Lipetsk who physically resembles Marsalek. The application was filed by Yevgenia Kurochkina, a woman with regular contact with an FSB agent. The real Konstantin Byazov is a legitimate priest. Marsalek stole his identity with the help of Russian intelligence. He's also been seen using other identities: Alexander Ivanovich Schmidt with a French passport, Alexander Mikhailovich Nelidov. Each time he needs to move or operate, a new identity appears. Russia is protecting him completely. In 2021, Germany tried to include Marsalek in a prisoner exchange with Russia. They hoped to trade him for captured Russian agents. The Kremlin refused. Former Wirecard CEO Markus Braun is currently on trial in Munich. He claims the Asian businesses were real, that money did exist somewhere. But without Marsalek, the man who ran those operations, the truth remains murky. But something unexpected happened. In March 2025, Marsalek sent an 8-page letter to the Munich court through his lawyer. He didn't address the fraud charges, but he did claim the Asian operations were legitimate. It was the first communication from him in 5 years. The Wirecard scandal cost investors billions. Thousands lost their jobs. But the real damage may be something we still don't fully understand. For 10 years, Russian intelligence had an asset inside one of Germany's most prominent companies. The COO controlled the data, the money flows, and international networks. As of now, Jan Marsalek remains at large. Interpol's red notice is still active. German prosecutors have prepared charges. But in Moscow, he lives freely. Recent videos show him walking Moscow streets, protected, untouchable. We know about the mercenaries in Libya, the spy ring in London, the courier operations delivering NATO equipment to FSB headquarters. But those are just the operations we've uncovered. What haven't we found yet?